Donald Trump is again at the center of a storm that shows no sign of weakening as legal experts, political observers, and the public attempt to assess the fallout from what is now being called the Ballroom from Hell incident. The latest controversy surrounding the former president has injected new fuel into ongoing legal battles and raises the question of whether Trump's position is becoming more perilous than at any point since he first launched his political career. What began as whispers of misconduct has exploded into a national spectacle that mixes courtroom drama with the intensity of a campaign rally, and every passing day adds another layer of uncertainty about how much exposure Trump faces in the weeks and months ahead. The scene that has now been replayed countless times across television networks and social media platforms paints a vivid picture. The ballroom, once intended as a setting for elegance and celebration, quickly devolved into chaos and scandal. Witnesses describe heated exchanges, sharp words, and behavior that even seasoned insiders found alarming. The footage that has circulated is fragmentary but damning in tone, creating an atmosphere where speculation is filling in the gaps left by incomplete evidence. For Trump, the optics alone have proven disastrous, compounding the legal vulnerabilities he already carried from ongoing investigations into business practices, campaign conduct, and classified documents. Legal experts caution that the Ballroom from Hell incident could become more than just a political embarrassment. Several prosecutors are believed to be reviewing potential charges that could stem from the actions and decisions made that night. At issue is whether the event merely reflects poor judgment or whether it crosses the line into behavior that violates the law. Attorneys close to the matter have noted that the intersection of public spectacle and legal responsibility is particularly dangerous for Trump, who has long blurred the boundaries between political theater and legal accountability. The ballroom episode appears to sit squarely at that crossroads, threatening to collapse the fragile balance he has maintained for years. Inside the courtroom, Trump's attorneys are scrambling to contain the damage. Their strategy has been twofold: to dismiss the ballroom controversy as exaggerated political theater and to argue that even if true, nothing that occurred constitutes criminal conduct. Yet their attempts to downplay the incident face an uphill climb against relentless media coverage and a steady stream of new witness accounts. Every fresh report erodes the credibility of the defense narrative and fuels speculation that prosecutors are gathering enough material to expand existing cases. Some legal commentators suggest the ballroom controversy could serve as a pivot point, transforming civil investigations into criminal proceedings with far greater consequences. The timing could not be worse for Trump. As he positions himself as a central figure in the upcoming election cycle, the ballroom episode distracts from his core message and forces his campaign into damage control. Rather than focusing on economic issues, foreign policy, or critiques of his opponents, his surrogates now find themselves defending his actions in a gilded room that has become synonymous with scandal. This not only shifts attention away from his political agenda but also risks alienating undecided voters who might otherwise be open to his message. The ballroom narrative is visceral, easy to understand, and difficult to spin into a positive light. For Trump's opponents, the ballroom from hell has become a rallying cry. Democratic leaders point to the incident as emblematic of what they call reckless behavior unfit for public office. They argue that if Trump cannot maintain decorum in a controlled setting, he should not be trusted with the responsibilities of the presidency. Activists have seized on the imagery, producing viral content that portrays Trump as unhinged and out of control. Even within the Republican Party, whispers of concern have grown louder, as some strategists fear the ballroom controversy could weigh heavily on down-ballot candidates and fracture the coalition Trump has long relied upon. Public opinion is already showing signs of shifting. Polls conducted in the aftermath of the incident reveal that while Trump's most loyal supporters remain steadfast, a significant portion of independents express unease about what the ballroom scandal represents. The phrase itself has become shorthand for dysfunction and volatility, elements that many voters say they are eager to avoid in the next election. The longer the controversy lingers, the greater the risk that undecided voters cement their impressions of Trump as a candidate mired in endless turmoil. Meanwhile, prosecutors face their own challenges. Moving against a figure as polarizing as Trump requires careful calculation. Any charges related to the ballroom incident would need to be ironclad, supported by evidence strong enough to withstand the inevitable accusations of political bias. Investigators are believed to be reviewing witness statements, security footage, and digital records from the event. The process is painstaking, and sources suggest it could take months before a decision is reached. Yet the very fact that prosecutors are openly considering action underscores the seriousness with which they view the ballroom controversy. For Trump personally, the incident adds yet another layer of stress to an already complicated legal landscape. He is juggling multiple lawsuits, federal probes, and state-level cases, each of which carries the potential for fines, restrictions, or even criminal penalties. The ballroom scandal may not stand alone but rather contribute to a cumulative effect, pushing judges and juries to view him as a pattern offender rather than a victim of circumstance. His ability to compartmentalize these challenges will determine whether he can continue projecting strength to his supporters or whether the weight of mounting cases finally begins to show. Observers note that the ballroom episode highlights Trump's recurring vulnerability, a tendency to create environments where his behavior and decisions invite scrutiny. For years, his detractors have argued that the very qualities that make him magnetic to his base, boldness, defiance, refusal to conform, are also those that expose him to avoidable legal risks. The ballroom has become a metaphor for that paradox, a space where Trump's flair for drama collided with the unforgiving nature of the law. The question now is whether the ballroom from hell becomes a mere footnote in Trump's long and turbulent career or whether it marks the beginning of a new chapter defined by escalating legal jeopardy. If prosecutors decide to press charges, the consequences could be severe, limiting his ability to campaign freely and casting a long shadow over his political ambitions. Even without formal charges, the scandal could sap energy from his movement, draining resources and forcing his campaign into a defensive crouch. The international dimension should not be overlooked. Trump remains a global figure whose actions reverberate beyond American borders. The ballroom controversy has been covered extensively in foreign media, with commentators from Europe to Asia weighing in on what it suggests about American democracy and the resilience of its institutions. Allies and adversaries alike are watching closely, gauging whether Trump remains a viable political force or whether his legal entanglements will sideline him permanently. For now, Trump projects defiance. He dismisses the ballroom scandal as a smear campaign and insists that the American people see through what he describes as politically motivated attacks. His rallies remain packed with loyal supporters who cheer his defiance and echo his claims of persecution. But even among his backers, a note of unease has crept in. Some admit privately that the constant drumbeat of scandal is exhausting and that they worry about the impact on the broader movement. The ballroom incident, with its vivid imagery and sensational narrative, threatens to deepen that fatigue. Historians may someday look back on the ballroom from hell as a symbol of a broader era, one where political spectacle and legal accountability collided in unprecedented ways. For now, it is an unfolding drama with no clear ending. What is certain is that Donald Trump faces a legal landscape more treacherous than ever, and the ballroom scandal has only sharpened the stakes. Whether he emerges diminished or defiant will depend on factors far beyond his control, as judges, juries, voters, and prosecutors all play their part in a story that continues to evolve. Every new revelation, every leaked detail, every shift in public opinion adds another piece to the puzzle. Trump's future hangs in the balance, tied not only to his political ambitions but also to his ability to navigate a legal system that now seems determined to hold him accountable. The ballroom from hell may be remembered as a turning point, the moment when spectacle gave way to serious consequences and when the walls finally began to close in. Until then, the nation watches, waits, and wonders whether Trump can survive yet another crisis or whether this time the storm proves too great to weather.